Hi folks, it's Evil here from Thundermist Lure Company, and welcome to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips. This is where we showcase your questions, our viewers, and today we've got Cindy who wrote in and asked, when it comes to surf fishing, what's the ideal rod length? Well, that's a very good question, because the longer the rod, the longer the cast. So, however, the longer the rod, the less control you have and the harder it is to work. So, a good general length, all-purpose length for a surf casting rod where you're able to maximize your distance for your cast and also retain control is about a 10 to 11 foot rod. Samirin wrote in and asked, do I prefer treble hooks or single hooks? Well, as a general rule, it depends, and I'll explain why. When it comes to crankbaits, I prefer a treble hook because treble hooks on crankbaits mean I have a much better chance of hooking that fish. When they hit, one of those trebles is going to stick and I've got a good chance to landing the fish. However, when I'm working a jigging spoon as an example, my personal preference would be to use a single sidewash hook, only because it gives me a single direct hook set and helps avoid snags if by chance your jigging spoon touches bottom. Now, iPincher wrote in and asked, what's a good rig to use off of a dock? Well, of course you can cast crankbaits and lures off a dock, but when it comes to using a rig, like a live bait rig, I would run a T-turn rig, and the key to fishing off a dock, cast your line out as far as you can, let it sit for a few minutes, let's say 3, 4, 5 minutes. After that time, just drag it forward about 2 or 3 feet and then pause for another few minutes. Drag it forward 2 or 3 feet, pause for another few minutes, and keep doing that all the way back to the dock. What that'll do is that'll trigger a bite. If there's a fish in the area and they see that little bit of movement, they think that that bait is taking off, and it will trigger a bite. Now, once you've cast out and you've done that, then cast a little bit to the right, a little further to the right, and keep spanning that whole area until you've covered that whole water column, and then do the same thing to the left-hand side. Once you've done that, that'll be a lot of casts. Start all over and keep repeating, and you know what? That will definitely put you on to more fish. Folks, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Thundermist Fishing Tips, and thanks for your questions. I really appreciate hearing from you. It's always great to hear from our subscribers, and if you haven't yet, please feel free to subscribe. We've got a great family of subscribers, and we would welcome you to the family, that's for sure. So thanks for tuning in, and until next time, good luck and good fishing. Close like that, you got to loosen your drag, loosen it up. But see, oh, he's running now. Oh, what a jump that was.